Patrick Rooney, the founder of Old School, and I produce a show called Declaration of Independence. We're doing a special show today in which we're going to talk with the three candidates for the school board in Santa Rosa County. I want to give you guys each a chance to say a little bit about yourselves and why you're running for a school board candidate in Santa Rosa County. Let's go with first with Lieutenant Colonel Pete Peters here. Pete, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you're running for this position?
Okay, I'm a retired Marine, 21 years. Quit, went on with the airlines, was never home. I've been more than blessed. We have 5 girls, 17 grandkids. My wife of 46 years is a Pensacola native.
Right on.
In fact, she's a registered nurse, so she can be with the kids. She quit nursing and taught high school. I quit the airlines to be home with our daughters. They were starting high school. Turned down a lot of job offers. Ended up teaching school for 22 years. I spent 2 years as a science instructor at Escambia High School. Then 20 years in 3 different high schools in Escambia County. And with the closing of Woodham, that was my last move. 1922, my mother and grandmother escaped the Muslim slaughter from Asia Minor, made it to Greece. My parents legally migrated to this country in 1947, 3 months before I was born, and boy, do I thank God every day I was born an American. And anybody that doesn't like this country, please get the hell out of here.
Amen to that.
I mean, you wouldn't believe the number of people in countries that supposedly hate us, and when you sit down with them for a drink or something, they go, boy, we do anything to be a star on that flag, and we got our own idiots in DC trying to destroy this country. I believe in an all-powerful, omnipotent God.
Yes.
I fear him. I'm a constitutional conservative. 1970, I took an oath to defend this Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. That's a lifetime oath.
That's right. That's right. You know, speaking of that, and Wayne, you're also a veteran. And Wayne, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for this position.
Well, I guess I spent 26 years in the Air Force, so yeah, I'm a veteran. My father served for 21 years and got a couple grandparents that served in conflicts and a couple uncles that served. So it kind of runs in our blood. And like Pete said, you know, the oath to the Constitution, even though you stop putting the uniform on and off and showing up for roll call every day, doesn't mean that your oath to the Constitution has expired. That'll be part of me because that's the way I was raised until the day they put me in the ground.
Amen.
So, yeah, it's pretty important to me. That's why I consider myself a constitutionalist first, conservative second, and last but not least, the R word that we're not supposed to use during this campaign. I guess you'd say for the last 5 or 6 years, I kind of watched what was going on around the country, and it didn't make me very happy. You know, I spent 26 years running all across the state, all across the world, kind of trying to prevent the spread of communism and stand up against the Cold War. And then the second half, you know, fighting against terrorism and stuff like that. And then a few years after I got out, I was looking around and I was surprised that, you know, I guess my blinders were pulled off. And then all of a sudden I see the same nonsense that I thought I was trying to fight against, and it was already spreading through the country faster than the COVID virus.
Yeah, that's scary in your own country.
And then for the last 2 years, just listening to what was going on from the citizens and stuff like that, their concerns, complaints, etc. And I'm listening. I'm thinking, man, these people are not very happy with what's going on, and neither am I.
Yes.
And so I thought, you got 2 choices. You can be an activist, or you can get off the bench, put your helmet on, and strap up and get in the game.
Play the game.
With a couple people also lending their support, at least in terms of words and stuff like that, encouragement, I decided, well, that's the course I'm going to take, is jump in the game and run for office.
Right on. A lot of people are glad you did so, Wayne. All right, AlisabethJanaiLancaster.
Yes.
Hi, Elizabeth. Tell us a little bit about yourself, the people here, a little bit about yourself and why you're running, if you would.
Okay. I'm running for Santa Rosa County School Board District 3. I'm a mother. a grandmother of 3, and very excited to have a 4th grandchild on the way. I believe my 28 years experience in protection services, research and investigations, budgets, and observation skills would be an asset to the school board and provide the background to facilitate a safe environment for the children. I'm very passionate about the welfare and protection of the students. That's my first and foremost priority and one of the main reasons that I threw my hat in the ring.
Yes.
On top of that, when I attended a boardroom school board meeting, I was very disturbed by how the constituents and the parents were being treated. They were bringing their issues forward and just being ignored and dismissed. And as a voter, I found that very offensive. And that is one of the reasons I decided to throw my hat in the ring also. Yes. I'm not afraid to address the issues. I would represent the constituents and community and work with them for the betterment of the schools. I am pro-parental involvement and transparency on all levels. I would encourage the parents and teachers to present their issues and respectfully give them feedback and solutions from the school board members. I think that's important. Dismissing their concerns and ignoring them is totally unacceptable. They will have a voice, at least through me. I would adhere to the United States Constitution and would not sign my name to anything that is unconstitutional. Lastly, I believe any decision an elected official makes, they should own it and be accountable for it. That is my platform, and I will stand by it.
I like it. Very good. Thank you, Elizabeth. And by the way, Elizabeth is running District 3 versus Carol Boston, who is an incumbent. And Pete Peters, Lieutenant Colonel Pete Peters. Pete is running District 5 against Scott Peden, who was an incumbent, and Greg Seltzer. Greg has apparently said that Governor DeSantis should not be interfering in the school board. Is that correct, Pete?
Yeah, he made it very clear. He despises DeSantis and he loves Nikki Fried. Therefore, I definitely don't like him. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's not a good combination. You don't like DeSantis and you like Nikki Fried,
I know.
who's liberal, very liberal. Very interesting. Okay, and then Wayne is District 1 against Linda Sanborn, and she has said that there is no CRT in our classes. Wayne, did you want to respond to that? That she said, "Bring me the proof there is no CRT being taught in Santa Rosa schools."
Well, I guess for one, I've always said that perception is reality because, the effect of a perception is the same as if it's real or not real. Okay. And so a lot of people have stood in front of that board and complained about it, saying it was there. One person in particular, not only did they call him out on it, but they showed him proof of it, and they ended up escorting that person out. A little old petite lady that probably only weighs about 105 pounds.
Oh my God.
And
so someone tried to show proof.
Yeah.
And that person was escorted out, and therefore they say there's no proof because that person got escorted out and couldn't show the proof.
It wasn't just Dangerous Debbie that presented the material, but one of the mom, she got shut down. And when a couple of the incumbents mentioned that it's not in the curriculum, and I turned around and I said, one of the reasons I'm running because the parents presented the material, they got shut down by the board. Wow. And that's bull crap.
It is. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. All right. Well, we're going to go into the next level here, which is open-ended questions. I'm going to ask, there's 9 questions here. And if I miss something, you guys let me know if there's something you want to add in that you think is very important that I didn't get to. But these are ones that I thought of that I think are relevant to this race. First one is, what is the issue that you're most passionate about? Elizabeth, what are you most passionate about?
Well, first and foremost is the protection of the students and their welfare. That's my first priority, but transparency and accountability are the next 2 because I don't see that they have any. These teachers and parents are being shut down. There's no open communication with them. And how do you fix any issues that you have if you don't know what they are? Teachers are apprehensive to come forward. I have had a couple of them anonymously speak with me, but they don't want their name on record. They're afraid that they're going to lose their job. There's something wrong with that. I mean, they should be able to come forward and present any concerns they have and have them addressed ASAP.
Right, I agree. And Pete, you're running against Scott Peden, who talks, his big issue is, he says, transparency. Do you think he's just too narrow with his definition of transparency? It doesn't include being transparent to the parents?
I don't want to guess on what he thinks. Like Elizabeth said, and Wayne and I have been approached by numerous teachers. I said, Pete, we want to talk to you, but do not mention our names because they will not rehire us. And I don't know if coupled onto that, it's not right. These teachers are let go every year. From year to year, they do not know if they have a job. Nobody would work under those conditions. Now, both Wayne and Elizabeth have been in numerous debates when I get to ask the question to the audience, how many of you people will maintain a job that at the end of the year, you don't have a clue if you're coming back in about a month and a half? They'll say they're coming back, but you're at the mercy of some administrator. That's given too much power to an administrator.
Yeah, it really is. Wayne, what are you most passionate about in this race?
Well, I think that we can all agree, and even anyone outside of this discussion right here will agree that safety is first and foremost, and that goes for the students, the teachers, staff. Every part of the puzzle. They got to be safe in order to do their job. They got to be safe in order to have a proper learning environment. So, so there's that. I will go ahead and state right now, because Pete led to it, and so did Elizabeth, that some of the teachers are apprehensive because they don't want to risk their jobs and stuff like that. And I get that. So I'm going to tell you right now, I will make a pact with y'all, all the teachers, that I will be your whistleblower. I will mention your name, bring your complaints to me, let me know, because you know what's going on. You see it every day. You got a better position to view everything from than I ever will.
Yeah,
and so bring it to me.
I like that. You kind of led into my next question, which was about the Guardian program. I know you guys are all aware of it. I have an issue with some of these candidates who are in there right now who are claiming that there is a Guardian program in the schools, but it does not meet the actual definition of what the Guardian program is. So anyone who wants to start to run with that, go ahead.
So I guess it was, Pete, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you and I were talking about this as early as January, February timeframe. And up until that time, I hadn't heard anything about the Guardian program locally from nobody, no citizens, nobody that's part of the institution or nothing. And then Pete and I were discussing it and stuff. And then all of a sudden, I guess it was around May, all of a sudden they're taking applications and stuff like that. So my first concern was, is this just a reaction because they saw that the three challengers were starting to gain some traffic or some traction, talking about this subject matter, and that was obviously, we were getting somewhere with it, and people were responding and to the subject and open to it, and so all of a sudden, it pops up out of nowhere that, hey, look, we're doing it. The bill that provided for this program to exist, whatever, was passed, I believe it was 2018 sometime. That's 4 years ago. Coincidentally, everyone we're running against was elected 4 years ago. Now, all of a sudden, it's there in front of us. We're doing it. Well, it should have already been done, okay? Because you can't wait until something goes wrong, for one. I mean, that's the worst case scenario, right? If something goes wrong, and then you go, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this to fix it.
Right. But even so, they're not, and I think Pete might want to jump on this, they're not even actually doing the actual Guardian program. They've got an SRO officer. That's not the same as the Guardian program.
It's totally different.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
It's not. We need the SROs. In this society, we got an open border where a war would being invaded. It's only a matter of time. Okay, the Guardian program was meant to have unknown staff walking around, unknown staff in the schools that can be the first preventers. All the incumbents are like, we don't want teachers carrying guns. We don't want this. We don't want that. And all of a sudden we started getting applauses for it. Everybody's like, oh, we got the Guardian program. No, you don't. You have a security guard, and that's kind of crazy in a way. And the other thing is, since when does a teacher lose their constitutional rights to self-defense?
Right.
Because that's what you're doing. The most dangerous place to be is in a gun-free zone.
It's right. It bothers me that they're calling a Guardian program something a Guardian program that isn't a Guardian program.
No. I guess you can call it, just like the definition of male and female. They changed the definitions to fit their needs.
Amen.
Here's the bottom line. It's up to the school board. The way the act is written, it's the school board that decides. It's not the superintendent. It's not the sheriff. In fact, specifically states in the program, if the local sheriff will not provide the training, you can go to another sheriff.
Who is the customer of the service provided by, the school district? Who is the customer?
The definition of a customer is someone that buys products or services. Okay, taxpayers pay for the education. The education is the product. Okay, the teachers provide the service, but again, it comes back to who's paying the bill. That's who decides who the customer is.
Right.
If I go buy clothes for my granddaughter for school, is she the customer or am I the customer?
You are.
I'm the customer. She just is the recipient
Right.
of that, of that product. Just like the kids are the recipient of that education.
Right.
But the parents and the taxpayers are the ones that foot the bill. So therefore, the parents and the taxpayers are the customer.
Yes.
I second
Pete,
that.
You second that. Did you want to add to that at all, Pete?
And the final product is the kids. We need to teach them critical thinking, not how to memorize a freaking test.
Amen to that. I like that. Very good. All right. What is this is my own question. It's something I thought about when I watch a lot of these guys talk. The incumbents here obviously have an advantage over you guys in terms of their experience within the system itself. They talk a lot about knowledge and all the things they're imparting, but my concern, a great concern I have, and I know you guys do too, is knowledge in a vacuum isn't everything. So what is more important, knowledge or wisdom? Anybody?
So wisdom.
That?
Yeah, wisdom. Mm-hmm. Life experience.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of talk about wisdom. I hear about the knowledge they're imparting, but you can impart any knowledge. And in fact, we know through CRT is knowledge, right? Mm-hmm. It's a certain kind of knowledge, but you have to have the wisdom,
the theory,
which knowledge to impart to children.
Hey, Patrick, if they have all this knowledge, how come we're in this mess we're in?
Yeah.
We wouldn't be running if they use wisdom instead of their so-called knowledge.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, that was an easy one. You guys got that one easily.
Wisdom is the application of knowledge.
Yes. Thank you. Nicely put, Wayne. It really is. All right. I want to get to school bus routes. Okay. That's kind of a hot button issue here, right? Now, my little understanding of this, I understand that they had bus routes in a certain way. And in other words, the bus might stop. And I've even seen this happen around the county and stuff. You see the bus stop in front of someone's house and a rural person, and it stops there. And the person comes down and the kid gets in the bus and they go away. I have heard now that they're changing that, or they want to change that. Maybe perhaps they already have.
They already have.
To the point where they're no longer stopping for the student there, to where they're making the student walk up until, I believe it is 1 mile. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Go ahead, Pete.
Here's the thing. I've been getting more calls since this firestorm started. Like one of the questions I was asked in Gulf Breeze was, what are you going to do to turn down the heat in the school board meetings? I said, you haven't seen heat yet till the next school board meeting with this bus stop route.
Yeah.
I've been called, and I've been to some of the roads here south of 98. There's no shoulder. Traffic is going at a high speed back and forth. Spencer Field Road, parents showed me what it's like out there. Tall grass. Down here past 98, you got water moccasins, rattlesnakes, so you can have little kids. What was fortunate is, just as I'm talking to a group of parents, and I hope those parents are listening to this. It started thundering and lightning. I said, has anybody thought of this? What are you going to do? Give those little kids aluminum umbrellas and tell them, go for it, guys. The other thing is what people do not understand. Look at the traffic on all these roads. Now, can you imagine when those school buses have to stop, the traffic that's going to go in back of them? And a lot of these roads, you cannot pass them. So with those guys stopping, I'll tell you, you're not just going to have complaints from the parents. You're going to have people trying to drive to work complaining about the school buses.
Why did? I agree. Why did they make this change? What was it?
From what I gathered, what they said was to save on gas, and the way the contract has been rewritten, which makes no freaking sense, they charge by the bus stop. So in order to save money, they decrease the bus stops. Now, like one parent said, he goes, look at all these houses, the kids are going to be down there. The bus goes right by these houses, doesn't stop, goes a quarter of a mile down the road and stops over there. What happens when these kids are running late? Is that bus going to wait? Is it going to take off and leave the kids?
I have not seen a topic pop up and gain this much notice this fast so far since we started this. I mean, I think the schedule just came out like a week and a half.
A week ago.
Like and I mean, we're already hearing questions about it, and
it's going to get a lot worse.
And so I like Pete said, I think it's gonna get pretty hot and heated in the next meeting, because I can already see that people aren't happy with it, because they're the ones that have to defend it.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that
they did it.
They did it.
They're the ones that
they did it.
Put it in play.
They did put it in play.
So so the incumbents have to, they have to defend this, and they have to be accountable for it. I'm sorry to say that, but that's just the way it is.
No, that you're right. They did put it in place.
Look at the debate that engulfed Reeves, because I kind of got stuck with that one of those questions, and I looked down past Elizabeth, going, I think the people that can answer it are at the end of the table, the two incumbents.
Right.
Boy, they just both stared straight ahead, never said a word.
Not me. Okay, very good. This kind of goes into the next question here about teacher salaries versus administration costs and things like that. Okay. Now, I hear a lot of talk from the incumbents. They're saying, pay the teachers more. Is this another one of those Johnny-come-lately issues that now that you guys have brought up, pay the teachers, they're now on board with that? Or what is going on here?
Hey, they've been in there for years. Boston's been in for 8 years. Mm-hmm. Sanborn's been in for 4 years. Boston and Peden voted down the pay increase. He was chair of the board. Nice guy, but I mean, he goes with the flow. Mm-hmm. And I think with the three characters you got on the air, I don't think we go with any flow. We go, my per diem with the airlines as an airline pilot, my monthly per diem was higher than my salary as a teacher. That's disgraceful.
It is.
According to a Florida State of Florida, University of Florida study, Florida has some of the I think it's 4th highest in the nation of administrator to teacher ratio. Santa Rosa, according to that one study, is one of the highest administrator to teacher ratios in the state. Now, both incumbents defended that, said, we do not have too many administrators. Sure, I didn't say they had too many. I said it's got one of the highest ratios. So again, they'll defend their stance. You can do without all these freaking administrators. You can't do without teachers.
Right.
And you got teachers quitting. There was one email sent to all 3 of us. I guess 2 administrators and 8 teachers recently quit last week. What's going on?
When you calculate what the administrators are making and you give them even the same percentage of a raise that you're giving a teacher making $47,000 a year, that's a big increase in salary.
Okay. They're making I think it's $120,400 for the 2 top positions, and then $119,000 for the 3rd.
Okay.
But the teachers are nowhere near that.
Yeah, the teachers are getting the short end of the stick. That's very, very unfortunate. Obviously, they're the ones who are ground zero. They're doing the work, doing the main work. Okay, last question from me is, I've heard some of the people say that are in this race against you that their hands are tied by federal and state law, okay, in terms of what they can do and what they can't do. Is this true in your opinion, or am I being fed a line here?
Anytime you deal with like government institutions and stuff like that, you're always going to have more rules than you need. Okay, but they're there, and unfortunately, they drive a lot of how business is done day in and day out.
Mhm.
But the one thing that I want to say is everyone says that these are the rules, and they almost use it as like a pass.
Yes.
Like,
Hiding
like,
behind it.
okay, these are the rules, so there's nothing we can do, and then sit on your hands and just go like minions and march along. Well, my thing is the rules are there, so we have to play by the rules today. But rules are written by man, and they're
Yes.
written in ink on paper, which means they can be ripped up and rewritten. And
I love that point.
none of us three are going to be able to change that from that board seat, okay? But what we can do is we can bond together, and we can be in the front seats of the bus that's going to Tallahassee with all of our constituents in that bus filling it up and yelling and screaming and saying, hell no, we won't go.
Right.
Let's change it.
One thing you learn in the military, read the regs. Don't ever ask a question you do not have an answer to.
That's right.
Now, one of the things that was brought out, they said, we can't do this because of the rules. And yet, the superintendent in one of the board meetings said, we have leeway. We don't have to follow the rules that are set by Tallahassee. Right there, it proved exactly what Wayne and I have been talking about before Elizabeth was running. And in the military, there's lawful orders and unlawful orders, okay? You get an unlawful order, you tell a person, put it in writing, I'll respond in writing. You do not have to, follow it.
You do not have to be bound by that. But I think, as Wayne said, they're using that sometimes as a way not to stand up and take action.
There's always a way. You don't just say, okay, I give up. I mean, I'm not one that gives up.
I agree. 100%. Guys, I
can get you sworn affidavits from supervisors that say that I'm not very good at going along to get along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got 3 here.
We'll take your word for it. Right on, guys. What did I miss that's super important? Is there anything I missed that's very important that any of you guys want to get out before we leave?
There's something that was presented to us within the last couple of days.
Okay.
Actually, my opponent, Carol Boston, brought it up and was kind of bragging on this program when we were at the Baghdad Fire Department. It's called Cognia. And parents really need to start doing some research into this, because this is a global network who is now putting their tentacles into Santa Rosa County. Also, they come up with the curriculum. You have to teach it. They provide the textbooks for it. And that's how the children are learned and tested on. Wow. So they seem to be getting some good grades with this. But when you delve into this program, this is how they're going to introduce CRT, these other, let's just call them more left agenda.
Yeah.
That's going to be coming our way. And this is a backdoor into it. I mean, that's
what we call it, Marxism.
Well, yeah. Here's the other thing. And, every time I mention we need to get the federal government the hell out of education, everybody starts applauding.
Yeah.
What Cognia is doing is getting the federal government out of it, and it is replaced by a globalist agenda, which is, people need to, parents, you need to wake up to that.
Look to get into this one. Yep, because they're using it already. I don't feel warm and cozy with it.
Well, and also Wayne's opponent, Linda, she keeps bragging about the Cognia and the high scores. You no longer have teachers, you have facilitators. It's right there in a written document. When I first heard that years ago from the NEA, we're not going to have teachers, we're going to have facilitators. I'm going, this is stupid. You want to have people with knowledge teaching that subject. And that's why the military, you wouldn't believe the training the military gets. I'd rather have somebody that's done it, has been there, and goes into teaching. It's a great second profession. It's the greatest second profession in the world. Rather than some kid, and I hate to put it like that, that's gone through a teacher's college has no experience.
This is very concerning stuff. Very concerning stuff. Pete Peters is, if anyone wants to get a hold of Pete, it's Pete Peters -candidate at mediacombb.net. AlisabethJanaiLancaster, AlisabethJanaiLancaster at yahoo.com.
Thank you.
And Wayne, you're welcome. Wayne Patterson is VotePatterson at USA.com. I like that. Very good stuff, guys. As we're doing the show right now, we're already into early voting today. So
Yep.
we're going to turn the show around ASAP and get it out there because people are on the ground already voting. And we need to get them as much education as possible so the average person knows what's going on in this county. And so for more information on the voting, go to votesantarosa.com, votesantarosa.com. Again, I want to thank you guys for coming on. I wish you guys the best. You guys are, to me, just citizens who are stepping forward, who are concerned about the children, concerned about what is happening to the parents being shuffled to the back, and rightfully, I think, stepping forward. And I thank you guys for stepping forward again. And God bless you guys. And if more information on what we're doing here at Old School is about natural health, success, and freedom. And go to oldschoolus.com, oldschoolus.com. If you need to get in touch with me, send me an email at info@oldschoolus.com. There's Wayne Patterson. I like that. Nice bumper sticker. It's bumper sticker, right?
That's a card.
It looks, very nice. Run the race all the way, and God willing, you guys can get in there and make a difference in this county. So God bless you guys.
That's been Patty. Thank you.